Remarkable progress.
Welcome to the Penguin Parlor. My name is Jennifer Reynolds. I'm the Business Development Manager in the Southeast for Aurora Expeditions, and I have been living and working travel a good majority of my life. I was born and raised in Canada. Social media, Jennifer Reynolds Travels, will capture some of the explorations I have and my passion for kayaking. But Tampa, Florida is home for me, where I live with my kitty cat, Alfie. And I honestly credit my oceanographer husband for introducing me to a new side of travel that became very history and geography centered, very animal centered. And whilst I enjoyed a very successful career on board ships, it was pretty amazing to be able to come shoreside now and get more involved in helping travel agents sell unique and exquisite destinations. I have been to the Antarctic 4 times. I am what is called an Antarctic ambassador. I leap for Antarctica. I love and respect for the region. I will always be educating, advocating, and protecting for it. So I will always speak Antarctic first. You can always count on me to deliver the info. And if I don't know it, the most important thing is knowing where to find the correct answers. I encourage you to look at my social media site, Jennifer Reynolds Travels on YouTube. I have some terrific videos here. I post the Penguin posts here every 15-minute sessions. And I've also got some great little 30-second videos that you may want to go ahead and use to share with some of your clients or to see what the continent is all about. In the past, we have looked at Antarctica 101. We've shared what a typical day is like. Fly sale options. And remember, all of these are available in the Penguin Parlor Library. Not recently, I did a presentation on November and December, the days of the year where you have the most daylight in this time of the year. And there, the Greg Mortimer, our ship that is exclusively with Aurora Expeditions. Ever had any interest in South Georgia and the Falkland Islands? A 15-minute hit will do it out for you there. And today we're going to talk about and post all about Aurora Expeditions as a company, who we are, what we do, and why you should be looking at us as a company for expedition travel. You may not have heard of the name, and that's perfectly fine. Greg Mortimer is the founder of Aurora Expeditions. He is very, very well known in Australia. He is to Australia what Sven Lindblad is to the United States, and he brought the Antarctic style and expedition travel to Australians many years ago. They began with diving and expeditions to retrace and talk about Shackleton, getting more involved in the Arctic, eventually evolving into who and what we are today, which is a company offering and operating 2 vessels that are purpose-built. Experience, I really think when it comes down to the Aurora difference, which is what I want to talk about today, it's one, the ships, they're built for us, they're exclusive for us, they run beautifully. It's the 30 years that we've been doing this, not being the first ride to the rodeo. And when you're operating in some of the most remote places in the world, this is really a good experience to have behind you. Our activity program is amazing. I personally am a kayaker. We have rock climbing, diving, snorkeling. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And we don't tend to take ourselves too seriously. We are Australian of spirit. And when you travel with us, it is highly inclusive. Your pre-voyage accommodation, of course, anything on board the ship, your Zodiac cruises, if there's charter flights, your jackets, your muck boots, your photographer, any Antarctic journey is very, very highly inclusive. And this is our magic ride, the Greg Mortimer. And later this year, he will be welcoming a sister called the Sylvia Earle. And this, my friends, is why people come to this part of the world, why they come to the Antarctic, to get into a Zodiac with one of your expedition leaders, with 9 other travelers, and explore the ice. We want you to be comfortable, and indeed, both the Greg Mortimer and the Sylvia Earle are really great little ships. Storage is nice, the cabins are very comfortable. You can't beat the views out of the floor to ceiling glass windows. And yes, those doors do open. Great hair dryers, wardrobes, slippers, all the kinds of things that you're going to need, including a sauna. And folks do use the sauna because we are in a cold part of the world. What I really like about this ship is the ability to get outside quickly. You're just a few steps away from the ice, from the penguins, from the whales, for whatever it is that's going on outside, from no matter where you are on board the vessel. And that is something that makes a really big difference. Only 100 travelers are allowed to be going out and playing at the landings at one time. So make sure you're asking questions. How long does it take the ship to board the Zodiacs? How long have these folks been sailing in Antarctica? How long has this expedition team been working together? Style and substance scales, my friends. Style and substance. This is our Antarctica, taking us out of Ushuaia or possibly Punta Arenas in Chile if there is a charter flight component involved. Folks will come down where it is #1 to the South Shetlands in the peninsula, 7, 8, 9, 10 sleeps, exploring every day there, possibly adding on a few extra nights to get down to the Antarctic Circle, but that can only be done in February and March when Mother Nature's a little kinder. And for those very few fortunate in the world, the opportunity to go to the Falkland Islands or South Georgia. The one thing that is between South America and the Antarctic is that brutal Drake Passage, and there are opportunities to fly over the Drake Passage. Mid to late January, that can be done. There's some luggage limitations, and it's a perfectly legitimate reason and a perfectly wonderful way to get yourself here. But the science is very real, and in particularly with our being an expedition company, our science is very real. Our expedition teams are naturalists, geographers, historians, penguinologists. They're working on furthering their degrees. We will be dropping Secchi discs into the waters. We call it citizen science, collecting information for NOAA, counting clouds, maybe counting penguins, doing a plastic survey to ensure that there's no plastics that are encroaching. And you can choose to do as little of this or as much as you would like, but it is kind of cool to see what krill looks like under a microscope at the end of the day. And after all, this is an expedition style of travel with Aurora. We like our activities. Our daily activities, as folks come down with us, are going to be out into our Zodiacs, doing landings, exploring along the coastal areas. But we do have some additional activities that are just a little bit different. Camping in November and December when the ice is very thick, that is an opportunity. I love to kayak. I travel with my kayak in my car and get any opportunity to paddle. We have an opportunity to do that here in the Antarctic. This is not a one-try experience. These are dedicated activities that you're doing repeatedly each day. Skiing, snowboarding, snowshoeing. I bet you didn't know you could do that in November or December. And something a far cry from the warm water snorkeling we're used to. For those that are interested in cold water snorkeling, again, that can be done. About 20% of our ship will participate in additional activities. And if you go to Greenland with this, one of those activities is rock climbing that you see there. I'll be in my kayak down below taking photographs. These are the people that make the magic. These are the expedition teams, the people that are creating the experiences and the opportunities. The photographers, the kayak guides, the oceanographers, the expedition leaders, the historians, the geographers, the people that have done things that you and I can only dream about, and you get to spend time with them on a daily basis, learning more about the world as they explore it and share it with us. But you know, I've shared a lot about Antarctic and Aurora, and certainly in November, December, January, February, and March, that is a core product for us. But in the summer months, in June, July, and August, we make our way up to the Svalbard archipelago through the British Isles. and through the Arctic to spend that delicious summer season. We trade off our penguins for polar bears, Arctic hares, walruses. We're an expedition company. There are a few experiences in the early summer months where we may have an itinerary starting in Scotland, making its way up to Longyearbyen in the Svalbard archipelago, which is a place I am absolutely fascinated by, and I'll tell a story about that another time. The western coast of Greenland that has some of the most incredible ice experiences, and that too can be you in the Svalbard archipelago, or paddling through the ice. It's really not that difficult. Our average per diem is $1,200 per person per day on average. Our average trip is 12 days long. And of course, on all of them, our cabins are generally 100 to 120 people that we carry maximum on board. The walrus, the going north to be able to see the Arctic side of things is a really interesting experience. And right now, at this very time of the year, our Greg Mortimer is doing a Arctic Canadian itinerary, having started in Kangur in Greenland and gone to the top of Baffin Island all the way through to Cambridge Bay, ultimately going with a charter flight to Calgary, and then the ship turning around and returning from Cambridge Bay up by Devon Island at the top and making a way back down into Kangur again. These across the Northwest Passage itineraries are really something else. And they are gaining a lot in popularity, whether one chooses to do a half itinerary or a full itinerary. The narwhal lives up here, blue whale. There's just so many things that you get a chance to see. Online, our resources really are very good. Aurora-expeditions.com. You can do a quick search for a destination. Choose a date if you like. You can filter with a duration, a range if you want a fly or a fly sail. And ultimately, the results will be returned to you. And what's great about it is the results are live. This shows you the live inventory with the absolute best pricing available at that very moment. And then we ask you to contact our guys in reservations who are very good, who can then tell you exactly which space is available, exactly which cabin, which space, double check. Things move very quickly. The resources here are all clickable links, and all of them have an extraordinary amount of information depending on how you want to look at it. Someone who's interested in kayaking or snorkeling or diving is under the activities section. Our ships, lots of images and pictures about the ships, stories about our guides. I strongly encourage you to read about the guides and the people that are going to be making the experiences happen for you, because that is what makes this place, is really the people. The ships are wonderful, both the Greg Mortimer and the Sylvia Earle. They ride well, the cabins are great, the food is great, the service is great. But again, it does come down to people. And I am just one of several of our sales team here in the United States, plus our inside sales team who support our efforts. And that, my friends, I think is one of the things that makes the Aurora difference, is a neat group of single-minded people coming together. The things that we care about are education and enrichment. We know we are good at what we do. We are a small ship expedition operator. If the wildlife is more important to you than the wine list, then we are probably a really good option for you. If you're interested in getting down and doing and seeing and smelling and tasting these parts of the world, that's what we can help with. Again, I encourage you to go to Jennifer Reynolds Travels. This is just on YouTube. I post videos. These, of course, penguin posts, which will be turning into, I think, a polar parlor, perhaps next summer. But thank you for joining me in our penguin parlor with Aurora Expeditions. My name is Jennifer Reynolds, and I do these every couple of weeks and post them and share them online. And I warmly thank you for your interest and your thought process for our amazing Antarctic.